Good morning and welcome in, everybody, to the Farzy Show. My name is Marc Farzetta here at the Steven Singer Studios. We got some great stuff to get into today, and I can't tell you how absolutely excited I am for a couple of different things. One, we got a Sixers game to talk about, of course. We'll be talking about that. This will tip off tomorrow, and we're all looking forward to that moment. We got a Phillies game to talk about, and we got a nice little walk-off victory. How about that? First career home run, first career start. Luke Williams did what he had to do to help the Phillies win, and it is a beautiful story. It's emotional. It's a tearjerker is what it is. We have a major injury going on there. We got an injury going on in this Sixers-Hawks series that we'll get into, but so much show. And we have another feature. We have two things, actually, on this show today that we're going to present to you. One, we have a very special guest. We have a special guest as my alarm goes off. That's hilarious. We have a very special guest. All I know is this guy's name is Dave. All right. And Dave is very similar to you and I in that Dave likes the Philadelphia Phillies. What's a little different is that Dave is from the UK. That's right. Yorkshire, I believe, is where he's from. And he is going to join us today at around 6:20. He's going to join us live. So that means he will be the only live guest not named Riley Cote. So he will join us. Now, the funny thing is, Riley will be on the show in a way today because we have a very special Farzy in the Field feature piece for Athletes for Care. Now, as you know, I went golfing with Riley Cote, Derek Settlemeyer, Nasty of Nasty Knuckles podcast, and former Phantoms and Flyers goaltender Neil Little. And that was at the Athletes for Care golf outing. So while I was out there, I had the opportunity to interview some athletes of past and present, as athletes were there in profusion. So I had an opportunity to catch up with some of those guys. Jason Kelce was one of those guys. Lito Sheppard was one of those guys. Trent Cole was one of those guys. Darryl Reynolds, who we talked to yesterday, he was out there, so we had a little conversation with him. So we have a very special, extended Farzy in the Field version for you today of everything that I was able to experience there before we went out on the golf course at French Creek Golf Club, which was just an awesome time. Todd Herremans will also be in that segment. My old friend Hollis Thomas is in that segment. So it's a special feature, Farzy in the Field feature, brought to you by FanUp that we will debut for you today. So make sure you stick around for that. But let's start off with the Phillies, because how often do we get to start out with the Phillies? Not very often these days. Sixers are the prime story, and we're going to be getting to that more momentarily. But the Sixers, ladies, see that? Look at that. They're still very much on my brain. The Phillies last night were pretty bad. They weren't able to string hits together, no timely hits. The offense was just nowhere to be found, unfortunately. But then you know what happened? Zach Eflin pitched a beautiful ball game for the Phillies last night. He was on top of his stuff. He had his things working for him. It was rainy last night, so you wouldn't expect either pitcher to really have good command. Both pitchers had pretty good command last night. And Zach Eflin gave you exactly what you needed to get from your starting pitcher. And then late in the ball game, this rookie that you only had just heard about, he was going to be playing for Team USA, and he got the opportunity to actually replace Scott Kingery on the 40-man roster. And Scott Kingery is one of those guys that I know I was wrong about. Give this guy a chance. However, it is in the back of my mind that the Phillies have had a lot of prospects that look like pretty good prospects. And then they moved them around. They bounced them around. They kind of messed with their careers in a way, and never really allowed them to get settled in at one spot. It was always, what am I doing today? That type of thing. But bottom line is you got to perform as an athlete. He did not perform. He's off the 40-man roster. This is after, I believe it was $26 million that he's at least guaranteed in his deal. And onto the 40-man roster, is 24-year-old Luke Williams. Luke got his debut the other day, laid down a great bunt, got to third on that bunt because that man, that kid could fly, flat out fly. And this is after he was playing for Team USA, trying to qualify for the Olympics. He gets on the Phillies roster, lays down that beautiful bunt, knows to advance around the bases, later came around to score. It was great. He thought that would be a good enough story. His family's in town to watch it. Well, last night, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, dream scenario, 2-run home run to win the ball game. He blasted the pitch to left center field for the home run, and it was awesome. And I'm going to show you this because because we're not a rights holder in Major League Baseball. I can't show you everything, but I can show you this. If you want to know what sheer joy looks like, because over the last couple of months, year plus, we've all, hey, what's joy look like, right? This is what joy looks like. Here it comes, ladies and gentlemen. Ho, 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 ho! Ah, Mom, Dad, I did a thing. That is joy right there. It's rare nowadays, unfortunately, that I'll watch a young man out there in the sport world, right? Just do something absolutely incredible, and that's what he did last night, and that's what Luke Williams did last night. And I will just be watching in awe, in amazement. I'm not necessarily cheering. I'm not bouncing off the walls. I'm just watching and just trying to enjoy the moment that I know another human being is enjoying. And that's what you saw last night. After the game, things got emotional on NBC Sports Philly when he was doing his post-game interview with Tom McCarthy. Take a look at this.
You mentioned your family. We've showed them a lot the last couple of days. And I know it's great that, like you said, it's great to have them witness this. I mean, what is that like to give them this gift?
You're gonna make me cry.
Sorry.
Can't even explain it. It's pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome. Well, Luke.
Who's chopping onions? They show you saw his family on the field there. Yeah, to see him go on there, hug his family, and how beautiful that was, how great that was absolutely amazing. And that was after Zach Eflin gave you 6 innings, by the way. Ranger Suarez gave you 9 up, 9 down in relief. So your pitching was certainly there. And then your offense just really didn't give you a lot. And that was the second hit of the ball game for the young man. You can't be happier for someone to just carry out their dream right in front of your eyes. So the Phillies, guess what they have? Phillies have a story now. They have somebody new, somebody you can follow, somebody you can watch. Nick Maton was a great story for a while, and then unfortunately things started to go by the wayside. But now they got a story in Luke Williams, and hopefully this is somebody that, by the way, can play all over the diamond. Hey, where do you need me to play? And he'll do it. That's just kind of what he does. So I don't know. There's a bunch of nicknames. Walk-Off Willie. I kind of like Walk-Off Willie of Luke Williams. I kind of like Captain America is always a great one, but I feel like there's been a bunch of Captain Americas. I don't know. But hopefully he just keeps this going because the Phillies could certainly use another shot in the arm from somebody these days. That is for sure. If you missed that, make sure you go check out the highlights of that game a little bit later on in the day because it's definitely at least worth the shot. It was really left field, left center, men's, whatever. But he crushed it. He absolutely crushed it. And the sheer joy and amusement was awesome to watch last night live as I'm working on things for the show, had the game on, and I'm just enjoying every second of that. Let's get to those 76ers before we talk to Dave all the way from the UK, Yorkshire, whatever. And he's going to join us live on the show, talk a little bit more Phillies baseball. I look forward to that conversation. So right now, I got the Sixers have been on everybody's mind, and as they should be. And I was listening to some of the national pundits, and this one in particular kind of jumped out to me. And it wasn't a Skip Bayless. It wasn't like the normal. It wasn't like a Stephen A. Smith, because I know Stephen A. Smith talked to our friend John Clark on his podcast, the Takeoff, his web show, the Takeoff. And Stephen A. had talked about how the Sixers are not beating the Nets. Sixers are not beating the Nets. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, because they're not playing the Nets. So first off, there you go. Secondly, I think the Sixers can beat the Nets. I don't think they necessarily will beat the Nets, but I do think they can beat the Nets. I think especially without James Harden, I think this team matches up very well. And as we've been saying throughout the regular season, this Sixers team with Joel Embiid, the Nets got no answer for that. You know what the Sixers have as far as an answer, or at least an attempt at an answer when it comes to what the Nets have? They have the second best defender in the league in Ben Simmons. What was it? The sixth best defender in Joel Embiid, and the 12th best defender in Matisse Thybulle. Or excuse me, 14th best defender in Matisse Thybulle. They got some pretty good defenders on this team. So I think that, as I said months ago, the Bucks are a fraud. I mentioned that once or twice. And on top of that, I also mentioned that the 76ers and the Nets, when the Nets get into the playoffs, when the Nets go to the Eastern Conference Finals, you know what the Nets don't want? They don't want this smoke when it comes to the Philadelphia 76ers because of how well they'll match up with them defensively. So, yes, they will absolutely have a shot at beating the Nets. Do I think they overall will? No, because the Nets still have two sharpshooters, two amazing scorers, two incredible scorers that if one's not going off, the other is going to. And I think if James Harden's going to come back at any point, it's going to be for the Eastern Conference Finals. So, and he's day-to-day right now, by the way. So we'll see how all that plays out. But the pundit that got to me was actually Tony Kornheiser of PTI. It was a phenomenal show. And I like Tony Kornheiser. And I'm watching this program the other day, yesterday, and they're talking about Joel Embiid, and they're talking about how hard he's working and how he's carrying the team, and he's doing all these things right now over the last 2 games to try to get his team to advance and win, obviously, in the playoffs. And he said, this is a guy with a torn meniscus. How much longer can you really rely on him? And at first I was like, stop it, Tony. You're just trying to steal our joy, Tony. And then I really thought about it. And if the Sixers are not monitoring this as closely as they say they are, if the Sixers are, if Doc Rivers is saying, hey, I'm checking in with Joe every 5 times a game, and he's telling me every single time I'm great. If we as fans are watching the game and you hear Joel Embiid on the sidelines going, that he feels fine, that I'm finishing this out, let's go. And you saw him doing that in game 2 when they had the sidelines mic'd up there. Then shame on all of us for missing what could be something that could really affect Joel Embiid down the line. But I'm going to go ahead and assume this. And, as they say, you make an ass out of me and you when you assume. But I'm going to go ahead and assume this. The Sixers will not put Joel Embiid in great risk, great danger for anything going forward for this playoff run. And you know why? It has to do with the Brooklyn Nets being in front of them. I think they realize that the Brooklyn Nets and probably the Phoenix Suns are the teams that are going to be playing for the championship in the NBA. I think that they don't look at this as their year to win. If they're being real, I think they look at maybe next year is their year to win or the year following. I think that they're still building towards that in a way. But this particular year, I don't think they look at it as, this is definitely our year. I don't think they risk Joel Embiid. I think Joel Embiid is okay. I think he's in a situation where he can't make it worse. I think they're managing it very well. And that's why you're seeing him going out there playing 35, 38 minutes in these games. He has been that dominant. He has been that good. And a thing I didn't even get into yesterday, they're not putting him in the ball game with 6 minutes to go, up 20 on the Hawks. They're not putting him in that ball game if they feel like he is at risk of any further injury or making the injury he already has even worse. They're not putting him back in that ball game. And that bothered me. I put it out on Twitter that night. I said, whoa, wait a minute. You're up 20 points with about 6 minutes, 6:30 left to go in the game, and your bench is playing great, and you're going to put Joe back in the game? Oh, I don't like that. No, thank you. Now, obviously, it turned out to be fine, but the principle of the thing is what bothered me about that. Again, up 20 seemed very odd. So the Sixers are going to be back at it. 7:30 tip-off tomorrow night. I just can't wait for that to get underway. There's a lot of conversation, and there was a lot of conversation around national media yesterday when it came to Ben Simmons, and a lot of it was because of Defensive Player of the Year, which, by the way, in case you missed it, did go to Rudy Gobert for a 3rd time, which is unreal. But a lot of people are talking about Ben Simmons, and a lot of people are talking about Ben Simmons' lack of scoring again. And I really hope that I cleared this up for a lot of people yesterday. When we talk about And I don't even feel like it's what dominates the conversation. I feel like what dominates the conversation is trying to dispel how other people feel about Ben. Like, oh, now everyone's going to rip Ben for only scoring 4 points. Should your ball dominant guard have or point forward facilitator have more than 4 points? Sure. But again, if you have other players that are contributing and they're contributing a lot because of how he is facilitating and running the offense, then we're good. And if he's shutting down a guy like Trae Young, if he's taking him out of the rhythm and not allowing him to facilitate the way he was in the previous game, oh yeah, I'm kind of fine with the game that Ben Simmons had. But as his game grows, as I was saying yesterday, 24 years old, as his game grows, I fully expect Ben Simmons to develop his game offensively speaking into somebody that you can rely on as a guy that scored close to 20 points a game. And he can do that if he just hits his foul shots. It's not like he needs to take 10 shots a game to get you 20 points per game. He just needs to take probably 8 shots a game, including the shots he takes when he drives the lane. He does that, gets fouled, goes to the line. Guess what? We're in a much better place. So that's what I'm looking at as far as Ben Simmons and developing him as a scorer. And then everything I think everything after that, I think will start to work itself out. Well, how many points he could put up per night for the Sixers offense and not just facilitate. And I think that will just be the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Ben Simmons. So when we acknowledge what he does for this team and all the other facets of it, I think it's actually a compliment when we say, man, if he could just score. Because if you're talking about a guy who was at least got a fourth place vote in the MVP category, this is a guy who doesn't shoot and doesn't hit free throws, then you absolutely better believe that this is a guy that could be in the MVP conversation if he just adds that foul shot to his game. Imagine Ben Simmons, a 20-point per game scorer. Oh, that'll turn some heads. Because, again, people from the national media, now that the Sixers are on this stage, they're one of the few teams remaining in the playoffs. They're a team that's going to get a lot of attention. And right now, they're certainly getting that with Joel Embiid. They're certainly getting that with Ben Simmons himself. And you know what? The guy that's under the radar is Tobias Harris. So Tobias Harris can keep doing what he's doing and making sure the Sixers team gets off to strong starts in the playoffs. So we'll talk a little bit more about the Sixers and what they have coming up tomorrow night, 7:30 tip-off when the series shifts to Atlanta. Look forward to following all that. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say about my good friend Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Do what I do. Trust Steven Singer, the other corner of 8th and Walnut, right in Philadelphia, right in Jewelers Row. And make sure that you have all the pressure taken off your shoulders with Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Steven, every single time, Steven Singer wants to have somebody in the store. You make the appointment at the appointment scheduler on Steven Singer, and IHateStevenSinger.com. And you simply sign up, make your appointment. Then you go to the other corner of 8th and Walnut, and a real jewelry expert walks you through everything. Everybody there at Steven Singer Jewelers knows that everything is at the perfect price. So there's no haggling. There's no negotiating. You don't have to go in there feeling like you have to win some kind of business deal. You just go in there worrying about what type of diamond you want to buy. And that's what takes all the pressure off. And that's why the other jewelers hate this guy, because they try to mark up everything in the store just to mark it down in front of you, make it feel like you're getting a deal. Not at Steven Singer Jewelers. The deal is already in place. Every day, the perfect price. The other corner of 8th and Walnut, right in Philadelphia, or online at IHateStevenSinger.com. Do what I do. Check out my friend Steven Singer, Steven Singer Jewelers. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor. So I do some prep for the show. Some production stuff, and you'll see that the fruits of that labor in a minute. But I'm cruising around social media, and lo and behold, I see this the Phillies UK Phillies site that I follow on Twitter, the account, and I'm sure a lot of you follow that as well. And I got this guy Dave, and he's going bonkers for I like it, Walk Off Willie. I'll call him Walk Off Willie. And I was like, I gotta hit this guy up, but it's too late. I'm gonna be bothering him. And then I was like, wait a minute, no. In the UK, it's like 5 hours ahead. So I said, hey, let me get this guy on. Let me take a shot. And sure enough, lo and behold, he gets back to me. I wake up and I got a response. And I was like, oh, this is great. I'm going to have him on. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to add him in right now. Without further ado, this is our new friend, Dave. Dave, how are you? Is this Dave, right?
It is Dave. Great to be on. Thank you for having me on.
It is my great pleasure to have you on, my friend. Thank you. Dave, first off, I know the story's crazy. You were in Philly. You became a Phillies fan because you were in Philadelphia. You went to a Phillies game, and you were just hooked from that point on, right?
That's the one. Yeah, 2012. The Utley return against the Pirates. Yeah, I was in the city, just literally at the end of a big long trip traveling, and the hostel I was staying at, guys there had tickets. Said, "Come on down." It's like, okay, I'm a big sports fan, so it's like, yeah, baseball's new. I'll try it out. And I got to the ballpark, and it was like, wow, Citizens Bank, Wells Fargo, Eagle Stadium, Xfinity Live. I was like, yeah, this right here is for me. So I got into the ballpark, walked around, because you can't do that in the UK. You can't walk around the stadiums, and you're literally stuck to your seat and to your section. So to be able to walk around, that novelty itself was awesome. The smell of the ballpark was unreal. Food, it was a great atmosphere before the game even started. Like, okay, yeah, this is good. Then a lady sat next to me and explained all the rules, and I was like, okay, slow down, because this is a lot. And then Chase Utley hit a home run, and everybody went crazy. I could see Utley was in the back of all the jerseys. I was like, okay, this guy's a big deal, right? Oh yeah. And then from then on, I was like, wow, there's so much to this game. And the more I watched it, the Phils lost. And then, yeah, everyone kept going, oh, you're joining at a great time. The Phils are going to get hot again. They're going to go on a great run. And I've been waiting 9 years since for that. But ever since that moment, I was hooked. And I felt like, yeah, this is for me. I love the city. The first time I'd been there initially. And I just fell in love with the city. It reminded me a lot of home. The people, just sports crazy, passionate, real working class, proper city, real America. And I loved it. And yeah, I feel like Philly is now, I go back every year except for last year, thanks to COVID, but feels like a second home. And I feel like Philly is a big part of my life now.
That is absolutely incredible. And you're where are you exactly? Yorkshire? Where are you from?
So I'm born and bred, as they say, in Yorkshire. But I moved down about 10 years ago. So now I'm on the south coast, based in the area, a national park called the New Forest around there. It's a nice part of the world. Any Americans that come over, get out of London and head south. There's some beautiful part of the country.
I will be over there probably next summer. My cousin's getting married, so I'll look you up. All right, we'll have a pint, as they say.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I will say I've been to London. It is beautiful. I really enjoyed it. People were like, "Oh, it's too much like New York," and I'm like, I kind of had that vibe in the beginning, and then I swear I sat next to these nice fellas, and they were in business suits. It was about a Tuesday afternoon, and I had like one beer casually, as they had about 4 or 5. And they're like, all right, these are all great ideas. Let's go back to the office and work this out. And I'm like, these guys are like drinking heavily by our standards, and they're just going back to the office to get their job done. But anyway, so yeah, I love the vibe in London. I will say that. Now, you're watching the game last night. Luke Williams, or I guess your morning, Luke Williams walks it off. Rookie, first start, first home run, game winner. Your reaction?
Man, so I'd watched the first 3 innings live, and it got to about 1 a.m., and Eflin just got out that bases jammed. I thought, I can't handle this time of night, so I'm going to get some sleep. Go up early, about 5 a.m. to watch the rest of the game. Having breakfast, and you know what? It was feeling like, how are we going to lose with Davidson pitching for them? And what's going on? Where's this offense gone? And then Luke Williams comes up. I don't know. I just had a feeling, as you do when a rookie comes up, when a prospect comes up, that, okay, let's see what magic can do. And as soon as it left his bat, I leapt up off my seat. I jogged my bowl of cornflakes everywhere. I was like, oh, this better go over because I'm in trouble here. And then when it went over, yeah, do you know what? That's the best feel-good Philly feeling I've had since the Bryce Harper walk-off grand slam. It felt like that sort of moment. I've watched it already just as many times. We don't have many, have we? It's been a rough few years, but that was just such a feel-good story and moment.
Yeah, I saw your reaction. It was just absolutely great. Make sure you guys, if you're not following Phillies UK on Twitter, make sure you do that. And Dave, you're running that account, right? That's all you?
Yeah, it's
okay.
all me. Yeah.
All right. Now, I did notice you have some other fan allegiances, but let me ask you this. Are you into basketball at all? You like the Sixers at all?
I watch the Sixers. It's tougher. There's not as many early games, so it's harder to follow the Sixers. But yeah, I'll watch again the highlights in the morning and keep an eye on them. And the early games, like for baseball, the Phillies is just a godsend.
Okay, that's true. And now, what are your other squads? Who else do you like?
Well, where do we go? So football, soccer, obviously the big European Championships is starting tomorrow. So everyone in England and Scotland and Wales, actually the home nations, it's all about the Euros right now.
All right.
So hoping England can bring it home. We've been here so many times as England fans, and we get our hopes. Like the Phillies, we get our hopes up every time, and they find new ways to hurt us. But here we are again. The Euros are upon us, and we're hyped. We've got a young squad, full of potential. But I'm trying not to talk myself too much into it, it's getting hurt again. But domestic football, I'm a big Brighton Hove Albion fan, which is a little on the smaller scale of the big teams, but we punch our weight well in the Premier League. Big motorsport fan, big Formula One fan, back all the Brits, Hamilton, Norris, Russell, and just sport in general. You know, like the French Open right now. I'll watch the French Open, the Olympics if it goes ahead. I'm looking forward to that.
Awesome.
Yeah, just anything. I watch ice hockey. I'm just sports crazy, but baseball, motorsport, and football, soccer are the three passions of my life. But the baseball is number one. I live and breathe it too much. Sometimes I let it affect my moods because for you guys, when the Phillies lose brutally, you can all go to sleep and wake up and forget about it. For me, it's first thing in the morning. It's the first thing I wake up to. And it's with me. It's with me all day. You know, so the crushing defeats and the walk-offs, they hurt. They sting all day.
I will say I've experienced a lot of Eagles games while I've been on the West Coast of the United States, traveling around, and obviously they start earlier. They start at 10 a.m. Usually here in Philadelphia, they start at 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. It is weird starting your day with something that can be disappointing or is disappointing. It's very odd to be having that cup of coffee, being like, what the hell? But anyway. Dave, hey, look, man, I can't thank it up. It is, I don't know what it is with me, but it's always odd whenever I have a conversation with somebody from the UK or somebody from Europe in general about baseball, because it's such an American sport. Like, I remember having a conversation in a bar in Amsterdam with somebody who was a Red Sox fan, and this person was lifelong Netherlands, never been to the United States, nothing like that. And I'm just like, how do you know who David Ortiz is? Like, I just like it was just the weirdest thing. Yeah. But you are all over. I feel like I'm talking to a guy that might be down to the stadium tonight.
Oh man, I wish. There's a great UK MLB community here. There really is. It's still relatively underground compared to the NFL and NBA to an extent, but it's growing really quickly. You know, and having the London game 2 years ago really helped that, and hopefully they'll bring that back and bring the Phillies and Mets over, because that would be great. They did a good following, and not only that, but everybody who follows baseball over here they know their stuff. You know, the Phillies fans, I'm not the only one. I represent a good group of core Philly fans who are just as passionate, just as knowledgeable, and as faithful and as dedicated as the fans in America and in Philadelphia.
Well, Dave, I can't thank you enough for coming on. We'll have to have you on again. Well, you could be our UK. You could be our UK correspondent. How about that?
I'd love that. Absolutely.
All right, Dave, thanks so much for coming on. We really appreciate you jumping on here. Our Zatos Investments guest line. Awesome. Dave, we'll be talking to you again. Go Phils, brother.
Go Phils. Ring the bell. Cheers, guys.
See you, man. Take it easy. Dave joining us all the way from the United Kingdom. How awesome is that? I'm not kidding. It really is. It's odd. I don't know why. Just because I thought baseball was just such a parochial American thing. But man, when you do find people that are overseas that are huge baseball fans, it always throws me through a loop. And it's just great. The guy is a huge fan. I don't know what my problem is. I'm trying to get his video for you where he's losing his damn mind. And it's not happening for me today. Excuse me. Before we get to anything else, I do want to jump to this as well, because I want to have some fun today. And I want to get a little bit more into the Sixers and after this. But we put this together for you. As I mentioned, I was out there with Riley Cote and the guys playing some golf on Monday. It's where I got my beautiful sunburn. And by the way, maybe you guys can tell me in the chat again. How's it looking today? Better already? Better than yesterday? Better than the day before that? I think so. Anyway, so we've been talking about it a lot, and I just wanted to take you guys behind the scenes of everything. So, Jim, if we have that ready to go, I just want to take you guys behind the scenes in a very special edition of Farzy in the Field, where I actually go out to the golf course and interview some of your favorite athletes from Philadelphia and talk to them about their involvement with Athletes for Care, as well as a little fun question we threw in there. And I also tried to catch up with this just to kind of see where the guys were at. So without further ado, here is a very special Farzy in the Field feature brought to you by the great people of FanUp. The In the Field feature is presented by FanUp. Download the FanUp app and may the best fan win. Former Flyer and current co-host of the Nasty Knuckles podcast, Riley Cote, hit me up to see if I'd come out to play golf for his foundation, Athletes for Care. Of course I obliged. After all, Riley is a friend of the show, and there would be athletes all over the place to cover, both from the past and the present. But first, what is Athletes for Care?
Athletes for Care was founded by a group of retired athletes who recognized that transition from sports, a career in sports, to the rest of your life was pretty rough.
I'm one of the co-founders of Athletes for Care. It was there's several different athletes coming together and building an organization around health and wellness and for helping make change and advocating for research, education, and compassion within not just sports, but within actual society and some of these mental health issues, concussion issues, and addiction issues that a lot of people are plagued with and dealing with.
It's definitely a different avenue to provide care in the medicinal ways to help athletes, and it's just a great group of organizations that come together and provide that assistance. So.
Athletes for Care to me is just a great network of good people that are trying to find their way after they're done with an athletic career and look into alternative ways to heal and just be well.
Now, what does it mean that all these people are here to support the charity?
Obviously, if all these people are here, it's an awesome charity. You know what I mean? It's an awesome organization that people want to help.
Now that we know who and what it helps, let's check in with some of the event's participants.
It's been a couple of weeks with Nick Sirianni, a couple of months actually with Nick Sirianni. How do you think he's doing so far as the new head coach? How is he relating to the locker room?
He's doing great. I mean, I think that everything's been a lot of fun so far. Obviously we've only been out there in shorts and T-shirts, but the energy's there. There's a lot of good enthusiasm in the building. So it's been a lot of fun getting to know all those guys and just being back around the team.
Flyers obviously not in the playoffs right now. They missed out on that. What do you make of the Flyers hopefully heading into next season?
I think it'll be much better. They had the season was tough because of all the things that were going on last year, and so they'll get a good start, and then so they'll practice a little better, and then Hart will be much better, and so the young guys will be playing much better. So I'm looking forward to the season.
I think I got this hat in, if I remember, Cancun, I think. Cancun was my first time down there, so I got it last year. It was at a wedding, brother-in-law's wedding, and I seen it, and I was like, man, this is a nice hat, man. It's hot out here right now.
Now, Lito, when I go around talking to people, they're all like, I'm here because Lito asked me to be here. All right, what does that mean to you that these people, these your former teammates, coming out to hang out with you?
I mean, it shows that I was a pretty good teammate, I guess. Just a pretty good one, I guess.
There you go. Obviously, you were a first-round pick. The Eagles just took another wide receiver with the first round. They took Jalen Reagor last year. They took Devonta Smith this year. What are you making in the early goings here of Devonta Smith?
Well, he put in the work that he needed to put in college, and what a lot of people don't understand is he chose that college to play because he knew the system would fit him. We don't know what the system here is with the Eagles. We don't know what the coach is going to do or how they're going to put him in the right situation to succeed. So he has, all the tools to be great. Kind of like somebody else. But it's you don't know what the system's predicated on. Andy Reid's system was predicated on 50 people getting the ball, in one game. So then you end up with 12 catches for the year. But Are we talking about Smith?
Yeah, we're talking about Smith. Yeah, Devonta Smith.
That's
We're
right,
talking
that's
about
right.
Devonta Smith.
Okay, yeah.
I have to ask you this. When people talk about Eagles cornerbacks, they always say, how come we can't get a guy like Lito? It always goes back to Lito. That's got to be a pretty flattering thing for you in your career.
It is. It's a blessing. It was.
Do you hear that from the fan base? Do you hear the people talking about that?
I hear more than that. They think I can still play,
So I just, I think that he's going to do great. He has a quarterback that wants to throw him the ball. Damn, you see how it keeps on.
I see. It's funny.
It's crazy.
Funny how it keeps on coming like that.
The tie-in is crazy.
Right.
First-round draft picks. The quarterback. Hey, Smith, if you're listening to this, because you probably will be, buy your teammate roses, everything, man. Christmas presents, everything. Birthday presents. Make sure you hook them up.
Never change, Freddie. And finally, we got to talk some golf at a golf outing, right? So I went around asking these guys if they could pick from a field of anyone ever, who would they pick to play with in a golf foursome?
Now, when it comes to golf, who would you put in your all-time golf foursome if you could pick?
Ooh, well, the easy one, first pick is Jake Elliott. I mean, the guy's like a scratch golfer, best golfer I've ever played with. Then very underrated, nobody knows about, Jeff Stoutland's son, Jake, is phenomenal. So I'd have the two Jakes, and then I'd probably, swing around with Evan Mathis just for a little bit of fun on the course.
Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Michael Jordan, because, if we have to end it in a fight, I don't want anybody else on my side. And I go with Coach Wright. I feel like, we need somebody to kind of steer us there. And I don't trust Jordan with that, so I feel like Coach Wright would be a good dude, too.
Do you think Coach Wright's dressing game, do you think his suit game would carry over into golf? Do you think he'd be like the guy that wears the knickerbockers and then like the vest and the tie and the Jeff cap?
Absolutely not. I would hope not. I wouldn't want that guy on my team. Yeah, I'd tell him go home. We'll take the caddy if we have to.
Marc Howell.
Marc Howell would be in there.
Oh, yeah.
I assume you have golfed with Marc before.
Oh, yeah, he's a great player. Yeah.
Who would carry who in that regard?
Well, it would be Marc. Yeah, definitely.
Who would you put in your dream foursome?
My dream foursome in golf? Dream foursome? It's a dream, right?
Okay, let's see. Okay, so I'm going to try to mix this up a little bit.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Man of variety.
Okay, so I'm going to go with I got to go two of my favorite athletes, first of all. And if I want to win, I got to add Tiger to the team. So Tiger's one. Okay. And Jordan's another. So
Michael Jordan.
Yeah, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan. He's just one of my all-time greatest.
Understood.
And I think to throw a wrinkle in it, I don't think he can play golf, but I think I would love to play with Samuel L. Jackson.
Why Samuel L? Just because he's awesome? Or?
Yeah, just I want to hear some motherfuckers. Excuse me, I just want to hear some of that. I don't, of course, but I think it'll be an awesome time though, just to hang out with him.
Now that you mention it, I want to golf with him just to see him slice one into the woods, just so I could hear the profanity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an all-time classic with how he curses.
The Shark, Arnold Palmer. I'd have to throw Tiger in there, the young Tiger, when he was getting busy before he got busted. Way to go, Buster.
How you doing? Nice to see you.
Thanks. That's my lunch. That's not yours. Hey, between the Golden Bear.
Oh wow, okay. All right. Now, what if I said it didn't just have to be golf? Anybody ever?
And anybody ever?
Yeah.
If we party like rock stars?
Yeah. Anybody?
I got to go with Snoop. Scarface, and Ice Cube.
All right, well, you would be partying, that's for sure.
Yeah, I actually partied with them before, so I know what to expect.
Okay. So, if you could golf with three other people in the history of the world, who would you golf with?
Oh man, my wife.
Wow.
My daughter and my son.
That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. Is your wife here today?
She might happen to be standing right behind the camera.
Good work. Yeah. Way to be a good husband. He's a good husband.
Tony Romo first.
Tony Romo?
Yes.
Why Tony Romo?
No, because he's the best.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely, I'm with Tony Romo.
I thought just to maybe sack him again. I don't know.
No. Tony Romo. I will put. I'm just gonna say Tony Romo, man. I mean, I've watched him golf, and man, I mean, what a golfer.
I'm just asking everybody this: if you could put together your dream golf foursome, who would you put in? Anybody ever, all-time pick? What do you want?
Okay, man. Let's see. Tiger Woods, definitely want to golf with him. Charles Barkley, you have to golf. You have to
How
golf.
do you pass up on that?
You have to, you have to golf with him. And how many more do I get?
You get one more.
I get one more.
One more pick. Unless you want a caddy for the foursome, then you have 2 more.
Okay, I want 2 more then.
Okay, you got 2 more.
Okay. So, no, but I kind of like playing. But what course are we playing on?
Oh, you can play as a 5-some. To heck
What
with it.
course are we playing? Pine Valley?
You can play Pine Valley. Absolutely. If it helps you get into Pine Valley, you're absolutely playing Pine Valley.
I'm going to go VJ Singh because I always love VJ Singh. I know, guys, it's a very, very weird pick, and probably they don't know who, that is.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm going to go with Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman? Yeah. I can't say I've ever seen him on a golf course.
You know what? The thing about it, though, it's going to be crazy. We're going to have girls all around. We're going to drink, and we're going to have a fun time.
I am actually in your golf foursome today by your good graces. Thank you so much. It's you. It's your partner in crime, Derek Settlemeyer, Nasty of Nasty Knuckles, and Neil Little. Yeah. So I'm super excited and honored to be golfing with you guys. But if you could pick your all-time foursome ever for golf, what would it be? Who would it be?
I think we got it today. I'm not a golfer, so it's certainly not picked by golf. It's just it would be chosen by just a bunch of beauties having a good time and having fun together. So to me, I'm living a dream today with you guys.
For more information on Athletes for Care, check out athletesforcare.org. Well, that was a lot of fun. Great to catch up with so many guys that I've gotten to know a little bit over my time in the media and all that stuff. And great to see them get together, support each other for Athletes for Care. And it is a great organization. It's a great cause. It is funny how many athletes I've gotten to know post career, and over the last couple of years, especially with my work with NBC. I got to be in the locker room a lot and get to know these guys and have a rapport with a lot of these guys. And it just makes them, a lot of them, it just makes it so much easier to root for them. It really does. And Jason Kelce is certainly one of those guys, even before the Super Bowl. But it is just, it's interesting to think of the days where it's all over and the clock's ticking on every athlete. And there's going to come a time where they got to figure out what they're going to do next, as Todd Herman's told us last week. And there's going to come a time where they have to also cope with a lot of the physical ailments that they go through. So it's a great organization. At least helps them with the next stage of their lives, the next stage of their careers. So my thanks to Riley Cote for getting me involved with that. Also Buzz Sports and Entertainment for getting me involved with that. And Jim Hyden, who did a great job on the camera and also helping to put that bit together as well. So thanks to everybody that allowed me to talk to them at the golf event. Sometimes if you're at a golf outing, the last thing you want is a camera in your face. So we figured if we got them before they went out on the golf course, it'd be better. And it certainly worked out well. And thanks. The comments have been very cool. So that's pretty awesome. We're going to run through some of these comments in a minute, as we always do. We're also going to talk about that little injury that it might affect this Sixers series. The Hawks were planning on getting somebody back. And guess what? It's not going to happen. So we'll talk about that in just a second. But right now, I do want to tell you about our good friends at DraftKings and DraftKings Sportsbook. We'll get into this a little bit more in our big bet segment, but I had a couple of bets going for me last night. And one thing, a trend that I'm noticing in one particular series that I don't think is going to go away. I think it's going to continue. But anyway, we'll get to that in a second in our big bet segment. But right now, I do want to tell you about DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Download the America's top-rated sportsbook app, DraftKings Sportsbook, and make sure when you do, you use promo code Farzy. That's promo code Farzy when you download the top-rated sportsbook app. That is DraftKings. Easy to navigate. Plenty of instructions for new bettors. I was a new bettor at one point. This will definitely help you out. Limitless ways, practically, to get in on all the action that DraftKings is offering. DraftKings Sportsbook is putting you courtside with a chance to turn $1 into $100 in site credits. That's right. Pick any basketball team that is still in contention. Bet $1 on them, and if they win, you win $100 in free site credits. Don't forget, DraftKings Sportsbook also offers great odds and promotions on baseball and hockey and so much more. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code Farzy. That's promo code Farzy to turn $1 into $100 in free bets. Bet on a basketball team of your choice to win their next game, and if they do, you will claim $100 in free site credits. That's promo code Farzy for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, present in Pennsylvania, new customers only, wager paid out in site credits. Restrictions apply. in partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. How about our friends at PHLSportsNation.com? Philadelphia Sports Nation is a great local Philadelphia sports site covering your favorite teams across blogs and social media. Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience at PHLSportsNation.com. Oh, Steak and Maine tomorrow. You know where I'm going to be sitting for lunch tomorrow? I'm going to be sitting in Steak and Maine. That's right. Me and the missus enjoying I'm going to have a steak for lunch because I don't care. That's my anniversary weekend. So we're going to be out there, my wedding anniversary weekend. So we're going to be out there, my wife and I, enjoying a fine glass of wine, a fine steak, maybe some lobster, right? We're in Maryland, so you got to have some form of crab, right? Crab cakes and football. It's what Maryland's all about. So that's where I'll be, Steak and Maine, steakandmaine.com. The heart of Northeast Maryland, whether you like to dine at a more upscale steakhouse or casual bar and patio, or simply enjoy some quality prime meats, fresh seafood, world-class oyster bar, and freshly prepared sushi, you got to head to Steak and Maine. All that and an extensive wine list, including their own Cavada Cellars wines. My man Tony Cavada hooking it up with some nice wine pairings as well. Open every day for lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. Steak and Maine in Northeast Maryland, voted #1 place for steaks in America by the Travel Channel and the Cooking Channel. Check it out for yourself at steakandmaine.com. Oh, got to tell you about FanUp. Go to the App Store, download the FanUp app, and start betting with your friends. That's what you could do. Issue challenges to one another, gain points, rise on their leaderboard by answering fun questions, get into their daily contest, win some incredible stuff. A pair of Jordans, Peloton bike, a mirror to work out in front of, one of them, personal trainers that appears, and then all of a sudden you're in shape. One of those deals. I just described a genie, I think. Anyway, but you get what I'm saying. FanUp and the FanUp app. Go to the App Store, download the FanUp app, use promo code FanUp, get 2,000 bonus points right out of the gate, just like that. That's FanUp. I use it with my friends. It is a good time. I know a couple of you guys have challenged me over this. It's worth signing up. It's a great time. FanUp. You can bet with your friends on your own little bets. So it's like putting a gentleman's bet in writing, if you will. Squad up with your friends, win even more. It is a great time. Fun, easy, and it's the only place to win the hottest brand prizes out there. So make sure you do that. FanUp in the App Store. Get 2,000 bonus points when you use promo code FanUp. FanUp. May the best fan win. Without further ado, let's get to our social media check-in, brought to you by Steak and Maine and steakandmaine.com. I know you guys got all the opinions, and I do appreciate it. If you noticed, and it seems like a lot of you did, I didn't have a hat on during that portion of the golf outing when I was running around. And in my mind, I'm just like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to run around for like 20 minutes, half hour, and get interviews, and then I'm going to go golfing, put my hat on, lather up a little bit. And I did it, and I think you could tell, I don't know who said it, but they just put in the word glistening. And yeah, glistening is a good way to describe my shiny bald head out there while I was running around. So yeah, that's probably when I got burnt to hell. Dan's checking in, just saying good morning. Nick's saying good morning, degenerates. Good morning, Nick. I did that in MLB The Show. What, cry for a walk-off home run? I don't know. Beautiful for this kid, Mac. You're absolutely right. Walk-off Willie. Absolutely. More importantly, they did have a double-digit strikeout. They did? Hold on. I didn't think they struck out 10 times last night, did they? Let me just check this for the Phils real quick. Check this for the fighting Phils. They did not. Yeah, they did not have a double-digit strikeout night. Harper had 3 strikeouts, though, so that's not good. Mally wrote that. More importantly, they did not have a double-digit strikeout, so that's a compliment for this team. It absolutely is. It's so rare, says Dan, for the Phillies not to have one of those games. You're absolutely right. Mally's checking in, saying it's an accomplishment. Pete saying unbelievable as far as walk-off Willie's night went for Luke Williams. Really, a lot of people just excited for Willie, so that's awesome. Still getting the Sealski comments. God bless you guys. Stephen A. Smith is a character on a TV show now. He reads from a script. You know what's funny, Mally? I think Stephen A. Smith is that guy. Like, I know Screaming A. Smith has become the, but I don't know what it is. I can't take my eyes off him when he's arguing with Max Kellerman. In the rare occasion that I'm actually catching that show, And it's not just some clip that, oh, they said this about the Eagles, so it's on social media and I'm watching it now. But on the rare occasion where I actually watch it, like Stephen A. Smith is like mesmerizing to me. And I'm like, this guy, like I think that I have a lot of energy when I speak. And like when I write, for instance, it's very difficult. If the rare occasion where I actually write, it's difficult for me because I can't sit still. But when I'm talking, I use emotion. I can use my hands. The whole thing. But when I'm sitting like and typing and like trying to write, it's very difficult. But Stephen A. takes it to a whole new level, man. It's a whole new level. What else do we have here? It's a lifetime deal with JoJo. I assume that's him just trying to be healthy. Brian's checking in saying, shut up, Tony. I believe that's in reference to Tony Kornheiser talking about Joel Embiid and how he's got to stay healthy and how it's going to be hard for him to stay healthy if they keep playing him this many minutes. So, yes, I will agree with you. Shut up, Tony. Don Vito saying it's a lifetime deal. Excuse me. But where are we? We aren't an AP English or grammar class. Oh, people are having grammar fights. Don't have grammar fights. Okay, I don't know what to tell you. I don't smoke weed. I do appreciate that. I guess you guys think I am a lighthearted guy. I will say that. I'm a pretty chill dude away from doing a show, I guess. But yeah, me and Todd didn't smoke out a golf cart. Can you even bake out a golf cart? Like, there's no windows. Like, it's all open up. How do you bake it out? Anyway, business suits checking in about Jay Wright. You guys have just been on fire today. Baseball. Oh, okay, this is interesting. Baldus. All right. Baseball is pretty international. It's the most popular sport in Japan and obviously huge in Latin America as well. Oh, yeah. No, that's not surprising. That's why I was saying Europe and the UK. That's why, like, if I've been over in Europe and somebody talks to me about baseball, I'm like, what? If I was in Japan, totally. And when I have been I haven't been to, I've never been to Mexico, been to Puerto Rico, been to Peru. All right. One of the things I love doing when I travel internationally, I'm glad this is just something interesting. When I travel internationally, if there's a game, if there's like a, whatever, like youth or high school, whatever, if there's a basketball game or a soccer game or something, and I'm walking around and I see that going on, I always stop and watch. I always stop and just, watch a little bit of the game. Or I remember one time I was in Peru and I was walking down the street and there was it was a big archway and I just saw lights, like stadium lights that you would see for I don't know, a youth or a pickup basketball league or something like that. And I looked down and sure enough, down these like stadium steps off the street, like right off the street, there's the street, little sidewalk. And then through this little gate, little arch, there was a high school basketball game going on, like a summer league game. And I sat there and I just watched, for like 20 minutes or so just to see how they play it, whatever. And it's interesting when you go and like you'll be in a foreign country and you'll feel lost to a degree. And then you look at something and it's so unbelievably normal. To watch like a pickup game or a high school game, whatever it might have been. It's pretty cool. I do always make sure I can watch something like that. No, once again, I did not get wrecked with Todd Harriman's on the golf course, so thank you. Can I get your plug for the weed? No, Mally, I don't even have one. Yo, Marc, Charlie Sheen wants his shirt from 2.5 Men back. It's T-Bro wrote that. Thank you very much. It was Dan Schwartz saying glistening, by the way. Yeah, Mal, T-Bro. I don't know what it is. I love that shirt. You know what's funny? I got that shirt from Hugh Douglas years ago. Nike sent it to him, and he was like, this is too small. Do you want it? And I was like, oh, yeah, sure. And it's like the most comfortable golf shirt I own, even though I'm generally speaking, and this is before Bryson DeChambeau came out here, I've been a Puma guy forever. I've always been a Puma guy. I think he stole the brand from me. John's checking in saying Hollis. Good seeing Hollis. Great catching up with Hollis. Trent Cole does look like he can still play, T-Bro. April! Kelce, amazing to hang out with. Jason Kelce's an amazing guy. Anytime I get a chance to talk to him is great. And Freddie Mitchell. John's checking in on Freddie Mitchell. Yeah, Freddie has not changed at all. And anytime I've ever interviewed Freddie, somehow magically, You know who the subject always comes back to? Even if I ask him about Devonta Smith, the subject always comes back to Freddie Mitchell. Isn't that amazing? Thanks for everybody that chimed in there on our social media check-in, brought to you by Steak and Maine at steakandmaine.com. Now let's move on to our morning rush, abbreviated morning rush today, because obviously we had a guest and a feature piece. But here's the morning rush. The Suns are dominant. The Suns are dominant. They took care of business again against the Nuggets. And I was going to mention this in our big bet segment, but I got to mention it now. There's a trend that works pretty well for me. And that trend is, in a blowout, betting the under in the fourth quarter. Because generally speaking, you're going to lose a couple of possessions anyway. Bench players are going to come in. It's not going to be a great game from that point on. Low scoring. The Suns are anti that. The Suns are like, oh, the starters are out and we're up 20 points already. Keep running, boys, and they empty the bench. And they've hit the over in both games, despite being in control, at least being in control in the fourth quarter. They have hit the over in the fourth quarter in both those games. So now the series shifts back to Denver. Joker is going to get his MVP award. Before the game, Chris Paul was talking about that after game 2 last night, saying how that could be a boost to them, so they got to be ready for it. The Suns in this series now, to me, look absolutely untouchable. Between Devin Booker and Chris Paul, between McCall Bridges, they just look like a team that is untouchable. And they played a great game last night. Bucks are back at it today against the Nets. That's tipping off tonight in Milwaukee as that series shifts back to Milwaukee. James Harden still listed as day-to-day. Morning Rush, also wanted to mention this in the Morning Rush segment. The DeAndre Hunter, local guy, Philadelphia, plays for the Hawks now, missed the first 2 games of this series. He has a torn meniscus, and he is going to need surgery. Unlike Joel Embiid, his torn meniscus is going to need surgery. So the Hawks, who were thought to be getting healthier and healthier, are not. They're not going to be getting him back in the lineup anytime soon. So he is done for the postseason. So that obviously makes the Hawks a little bit weak, a little bit more weak. So they're expecting to get him back. Not happening. So that's just one thing going on with the Hawks in this series. Certainly not celebrating an injury, just letting you know the news. It's not happening. So that was the news that broke yesterday when it came to the 76ers and this second round series with the Atlanta Hawks. Now let's go ahead and jump to our big bets segment, brought to you by DraftKings at DraftKings Sportsbook. By the way, the Morning Rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars and SkyMotorcars.com. Here's what I did yesterday as far as my own personal betting slip went. I couldn't help myself. I went ahead and I told you yesterday that I like the Suns covering at -5, and that's what they did. Thank you very much. Chris Paul, just another great game for him. Devin Booker, another good game. McCall Bridges. I looked at right before game time. I did look yesterday. We mentioned to you that McCall Bridges, his number for over on threes was looking pretty good. Apparently, DraftKings, they caught on to that. The return on the investment, the value wasn't really there, so I didn't jump on that yesterday. But the Nets are minus 3.5 point underdogs. Plus 3.5 point underdogs in Milwaukee. So Milwaukee is 3.5 point favorites at home. Has Milwaukee looked like they figured out anything in this series? Home court advantage or not? Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant played on the road enough times, know how to win on the road. The Bucks look cooked to me. I mean, maybe they still won it in game 4 to avoid the sweep, but I don't think they look like anything close to figuring anything out. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Nets tonight, plus 3.5 over the Bucks. And that series will be 3-0. So that's what I'm looking at tonight for our big bets segment, brought to you by DraftKings and DraftKings Sportsbook. When you download the app, make sure you use promo code Farzy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. As per usual, appreciate that. Make sure you click subscribe on our YouTube page as well. My thanks to Jim Hyden, who produced the program, did a great job filming all the stuff there at the golf outing. And my thanks to Buzz Sports and Entertainment. You guys have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. We'll check back with you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Oh, and thanks to Dave, of course, from UK Phillies. Take it easy, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow.